Welcome back, Survivors, to episode 2 of our Nightmare Learning Guide. In this episode, I have a few things already planned. The first thing we're going to go to is to this enclave right over here. And this is our very first quest that does not involve our home site, and the most important quest of them all. And inside of here is a group of people that want to offer a trading system as well as other benefits. So I had to talk to Chris here, and she needs plague samples in order for us to continue. So I need to go out and find 2 plague samples, and in order to get those, it's actually quite simple. You see that zombie right over there? You see how it has red eyes? That means it's a plague zombie. So I'm about to do something that maybe you're not too okay with, but it will mean that it'll be a great opportunity for us to, one, get plague samples, but also advance us to our next tip, which is infestations. So what I'm going to do is get my Miragra. I'm going to park in the middle of play territory, which you can tell because of this huge cloud here. And all I'm going to do is press C. This here will honk my horn, causing zombies around to start rushing to my location. And they should be popping up any second now. It looks like there's actually not around me, so let's go ahead and try again over here. And killing a plague zombie has a chance of dropping plague samples. Now, keep in mind that the more sound or the more zombies that you kill, you're going to awaken this plague heart here. And if it's awake, then that kind of elevates the danger of a set of plague heart. But if you can keep it contained and you don't have too many awake, you should be safe. So I'm going to get these plague samples, and I'll see you guys back over at the enclave if I can't get any here. Oh, you know what? I actually just got one. The plague samples that you do collect, you can use that to cure partial blood plague, which we haven't gotten yet, so you won't see that until later. You can also create plague cures in case you get fully infected, and of course, it's for a couple of quests. And by bringing this to the enclave and talking back with Chris here, I will now give her the samples, and 2 things happen here. 1, I get a gas rucksack and 500 influence, as well as a ton of citizenship standing here. So it's very useful, and then they also become friendly, which means now I can actually sell items to them for a certain price. You get more if they're friendly, and if they're allied, you can buy and sell things for more. So you want to raise their friendship status up to allied, because it also has 1 extra perk that I will show you guys later. But now with this quest done, now you can hop on to our next thing. So one of the most important parts of this game is having good friends. And by doing that, you got to open up your radio commands, go to find resources / people, and then pick find other survivors. You can also pick up rucksack locations too. But first, we're going to do the survivors, because I want to find more people as soon as possible, because they're going to be a key mechanic in order for us to finally get rid of the blood plague in this world. I believe you can have a max of 15 enclaves, which gives you enough to get all of their bonuses, as well as opening a great source of trading, which we'll use that after we do the first plague heart. So right there, what I just passed was an infestation horde. So because I have an active plague heart, there's going to be little hordes that come by and take over certain buildings. So in a few seconds, we're going to see some POI be taken over by an infestation. It's not a big deal, given that we are pretty prepared as of right now. But we'll take care of it after we meet up with these guys. So they don't need anything from us. All they need is just for us to talk to them. And now we become instantly friendly with them, which once again opens up a new trading area here. And there's 2 things that I would recommend you guys buying. If you guys don't have enough toolkits, I would recommend you guys buy a toolkit. It's a little expensive, but trust me, you would rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So we're gonna pick this up, and then we're gonna also pick up this gun because 1, it's really cheap, so you now have access to using a brand new weapon. But also, you can give these to your survivors at your base, and they'll have guns with essentially infinite ammo because NPCs in this game don't use bullets. So as long as they have the gun, then they can shoot it, and it makes your survival a lot easier by the base. So now I got the notification that the house by the hay farm has a severity 1 infestation. These are the lowest and the weakest infestations that you can get, which means that this will be easy to clear out. These have very good rewards for doing it. The biggest thing is that if you clear out the whole infestation, you get 50 influence. And then, of course, you get the influence for each enemy that you kill in there. So in this case, this house here is going to have 2 enemies. It's going to have a Screamer and a Bloater. Now, if you go up to like severity 2 or 3, you're going to see Pharaohs and Juggernauts. But in this case, they're all inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to honk my horn and draw them out of here. Now keep in mind that sometimes you don't have to kill every enemy in the building in order to finish off the infestation. You just have to clear out the important yellow zombies. So with every infestation, they also have about 8 to 10 zombies that are non-freaks. So you just have to ward them off until the Screamer and the Bloater come out. And in this case, the Bloater is already dead. So our main focus now, killing that Screamer, which should be popping out any second now. And occasionally they're very difficult to come out. Now the reason why he isn't coming through is because there is a door there. And if I push open the door, he'll end up being right there. So we're gonna run right through it. It'll cause him to get knocked down. Press E to finish him off. And then that 1 gives us the influence for killing the Screamer, but also the 50 from the actual infestation. Now you'll also see bonus bags from killing other enemies that aren't a part of the final enemy. So in this case, that was the Screamer, right? So that was the final enemy, which means that the Bloater was the one that gives us the... Now the problem with the infestations is that if you leave them alone for too long, they will grow to tier 2 and tier 3, and it gets significantly harder. However, the rewards for killing them are actually a lot better as well. So you do want to have some level of danger because you can get those good items, and those could be rocket launchers, sniper rifles, but that's why I like to have infestations, as they are really good for making sure that you get weapons and a ton of influence. Now, while I was out, I did get a Warlord quest to catch a thief. And these are quests that are designed for some characters, aka the Warlord, which is tied to Megan. So I'm going to go ahead and mark on the map so I know where she is, and then go talk to her, because she'll have a quest for me to do that will, 1, raise my standing, but also give me extra influence. Now keep in mind that some are good and some are pretty bad. So this one is the to catch a thief, which means that she is going to find someone that stole food from us, because now you can see that we're low on food. And by doing so, that is going to mean that she will now be, or that we will now be in control of her for a while. So make sure you're always prepared for any kind of fight, just in case anything does happen. So always have bandages and that sort of thing. And then now our quest is going to be talking to Rashawn, which I was just him. And now we know where she is. But this first quest is always easy. Go ahead and talk to her. Say we need the food. If you pick this option, they'll become hostile and they'll try to attack you. So you kind of just want to grab the food and go. Although if you feel pretty good about killing an enclave, you can go ahead and pick that up. And then she'll have a red diamond above her saying that she is bad. But if you have good aim, you can actually kill her in a few shots. Which I don't. Down again. And now she's dead. And you can now loot her body as well as the items that I was supposed to get from this quest. If you aren't comfortable killing her, just say we need the food and leave. Because that will still give you the 200 influence and then your food, and then you can go. If you want the extra items, you can go ahead and kill her. Works out pretty well for you usually, if you have good aim though. Okay, so now that we have our first 2 enclaves, it is now a good time to go ahead and discuss what these are about here. So these are play cards. These are like the mini bosses for the game, and there are between 17 to 18 on a Nightmare world. And this is the first difficulty from Green Zone to Nightmare, that it actually starts to hide the play cards until you find them. If you're on Dread, Standard, or Green, you know where they are. However, on Nightmare and Lethal, you don't actually see where they are until you spot them or you get too close. Or just follow the red bits in the sky. So whenever I entered over here, I was seeing those little red bits in the sky, and that meant that that was a plague territory. And then once you find the heart, it'll then disclose the entire actual area of the plague heart. And if you make any noise, like if you alert a screamer who then yells or coughs up whatever blood it has, then it'll make noise and eventually wake up the plague heart, which makes it difficult but not impossible. So we're going to now prepare for our first plague heart kill now that we have some supplies, and I'm gonna go over the essentials of what I would bring and show you guys how good a melee build can really be. Now when I was playing, I was having a really hard time with this, where I would go for a plague heart and I would have a hard time with the weapon, because what I would pick would be a blunt or a bladed or just a little knife that does not do anything for you. So you're going to want to put all this away, and then you're going to look for something that's heavy. So we have a double bit axe and a sledgehammer, but there's two more things to look at here, not just for heavy, is the impact and the knockdown. So the impact's really high, which is really good because it means a lot of damage, and knockdown means that if I swing my weapon, it should go in a large swing and should knock down enemies while I'm hitting the plague heart. This is very important, as you'll see a lot of zombies in this fight. So we're going to bring a gun, some ammo, we're going to bring a heavy weapon, we're going to also pick up some bandages and some drinks, or snacks if you don't want to waste the drinks. And there's a few reasons why you want to kill plague hearts. One, it'll open up the map for you to loot without having to worry about the blood plague, because these zombies are the only zombies that can actually give you the blood plague. So anything that's like deep red is the blood plague potential. So what you want to do is you want to park your car against like a window, but you want to have your front of your car against the wall, as that will prevent any zombies from getting to the front of your car. I will disclose all of that coming in the next episode, because cars are one of the most essential parts in the game. So now that everybody right now is currently outside or moving outside, we're going to hop off, have our snacks or our drinks in hand, and we're going to run in with our weapon. You can make noise, they know exactly where you are, so don't try to hide yourself, and get yourself in a corner so you can actually hit the plague heart, but limit their access to you. And if you get hungry or stamina, that you want to use your consumables as much as possible. And then once the plague heart is entered its next phase, you're going to hear that scream, and you're going to see a little layer of gas around the plague heart. It'll prevent you from doing any damage around it. For melee, you can still use guns just fine, but for practice, I recommend that you use your melee weapon. You can also use Molotovs, firebombs, you can use you can use explosions, all that fun stuff. But once the gas is cleared, you go back in for a few more hits, and then you keep heading out. So what I'm doing right now is I'm dodging. And dodging, what that does is that it'll prevent me from getting hit by any zombies for a certain period of time. And you can do this indefinitely. Now there's occasional time where you will miss your dodge, but for the most part it's pretty safe. Just make sure that you avoid any like stronger enemies like the bloater there. You don't want that near your car, because it means that you won't have protection here, as you will have a huge cloud of smoke around you. So now we're going to wait for that cloud to go away, and then we're going to go back in for the final kill. And this is how bad it gets for Nightmare. On Lethal, it gets even worse, but one of the benefits for Nightmare mode is that whenever you kill a plague heart, you get a ton of supplies, and also one last thing. So let's go ahead and finish this off. It's pretty easy. It's about 3 to 5 hits per phase. But now you got rid of all of the plague zombies in this area. And that includes freaks too. So like you saw the screamer that was over there, it's gone now. And now we'll open up here and see how everything here is now white. Now this is still under the influence of this plague heart, which we can do next real quick. But you'll see how now my enclave here has a quest. So we're gonna actually take a break from the plague killing for a little bit, and we're gonna go after some quests for a little bit, because this is actually a great way to get your skills up with the traders up really high. So they need some materials, which is really easy. It requires you to go back to your base and grab some. For quests that require you to bring supplies, whether it be food, medicine, materials, etc., it's really simple. So you want to go to your storage, which is located in every base, and in this case mine is back over here, and you're going to pick out withdraw a rucksack, and in this case we're going to pick out materials. Now make sure that you have at least one material left over, because if you have less than one, if you have 0 or less, then you're going to have your facility start breaking down, which is not what you want. So we're going to go ahead and bring this over to them, and they will become allied with us. Another benefit for enclaves is that if they kill any zombies around a plague cart, they don't add to the attention of the plague cart and won't wake them up. Now, they do have their own health, stamina, weapons, and all that, so you want to make sure that you do keep them safe. Make sure that you are protecting yourself at all costs, because they are a lot more durable than you are. Now, because right now they're killing enemies right now, they also, for some reason, don't make noise. So, like, the gunshots would have woken up a couple of times around here and had them coming this way. Like, he could have heard it, he could have heard it. So, you want to get rid of enemies, you want to go to enclaves, as they have a really good way of killing them for you. So, we want to deposit the rucksack of materials to them, and this will then make them allied. Now, allied bonuses are really good for all players, because you can get radio commands, you can get decreased radio cooldowns, or you can get supplies, morale, food, all that great stuff. And now, because they're allied, I can now buy supplies off them. So you know how I bought that toolkit that was that was before 125 influence, and that's only 89. Plus, they usually have more to sell. And in this case, I do really want to get medicine. So now I get 50 influence off just because they're allied with me, which is a huge bonus for you. Now, like I said before, you can have up to 15 enclaves at once, so the bonuses will stack. You can't get 2 of the same bonus, but there are a lot that are really good. And the one that I got was encouragement, which encouragement, what that does is that it's going to remove your fatigue, which you'll be getting that if you use the same character for too long, which is kind of why you want to keep your character switched out, so that way they can rest and take a break for a little bit. Now we can go back home and start working on upgrading our existing buildings right now. So go ahead and deposit what we have, and now with this medication here, we can now fix our community problem of not having enough meds. Your community will be using resources every day based on what you have, and for food, it's natural. If you're on Nightmare, people are going to eat 1.5 units of food per day, and if you're using an infirmary, this will also use 2 meds per day. So right now, I am taking a little loss of morale because I have little meds. But now if I go ahead and go to here and I deposit the medicine, now it'll reflect here in a second, hopefully. There it goes. So now we got our morale back, which is really powerful. So you make sure that this is as high as possible. As you can see, the increase of the facility action speed, the build speed, and experience rate, which is used to level up all your useful skills here. So if this is high, you'll be good. You'll be in good shape. So now we're gonna go ahead and use our materials we have right now. We've got a good amount. We're going to actually upgrade our infirmary. So right now it'll increase our passive recovery, so it'll give us more healing speed. It'll also cure up trauma, I believe. And then if you level this up, it'll now remove injuries. So let's see who I have right now. You'll see how Rashawn here has another red debuff. So the first one here is for partial blood infection. And then the other one here is for injuries. So now if I pick this up, I will start to do passive healing for those injuries. And this overall I think is a very worthwhile investment because it takes 60 minutes, and after that you'll have passive healing, plus you'll also get 1 extra bed for you to put a survivor in. So right now I do have a little bit of plague infection right now above my minimap, but also so does Rashawn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my base menu here. I'm going to go to infirmary. I'm going to pick up treat, plague, and infection, and then I'm going to put Rashawn in here. So now he'll start to recover from partial plague infection in a matter of time. Now it does take a while, but there are mods that can help you with that over time. And now unfortunately here, I don't have enough materials in order to build another facility, so we're going to do one last thing, and that's going back to find resources and people. And we're going to, in this case, locate materials, because I do need materials in order to make my next facility. And what this does is it's going to call out for a location that has a rucksack of materials or whatever material you picked out. So it could be food, medicine, ammo, that kind of thing. And eventually it'll pop up here on the map here. Now these materials can pop up anywhere, but usually it's closer to where your home base is, but there could be a chance where it can spawn all the way over here, and it's up to you to decide if it's actually worth it or not, because sometimes if it's over here and you're on lethal zone, you don't want to do that. But we're on nightmares, so we're gonna go over here and get our supplies. And for these quests, what you're looking for is a POI that has the site containing materials. So that warehouse has materials, but if you go over to this house here, the site here is not gonna have it, or they may not even be lootable. So in this case, you got materials and gas, so it could be in there, but here the site contains only mods, so you won't see anything too great here. However, it could be either in that shed or in that warehouse. And make sure that you're being very careful and that you are sneaking around. If this is a new POI for you and you're in the middle of play territory, which I am, I'm not really in danger, but if you were, say, somewhere in this direction or over here, you'd want to crouch because you never know what's around you. So we went over a little more about enclaves and how we can get ally bonuses. We ended up killing a plague heart, and the best strategy to kill one would be with melee. We also learned about using the radio to find resources, and in the next episode is all about vehicles, plague carts, and outposts, which are going to be really helpful in the future. So if y'all still like the series, leave a like, subscribe, because I'm making more videos about this in the near future. And if there's anything I missed, definitely let me know in the comments. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep living, survivors.